So in the previous, we have discussed about the Lamport's suggestions to how to globalize the clock. And today, in this lecture, we're going to start the concept which is given by Lamport uh, about that how to synchronize the logical clock, how to implement, what are the conditions by which it can be satisfied, means the logical clock can be satisfied. So, as I have already told you that Lamport has proposed a scheme uh, just to order the events in the distributed system, which will be using the logical clocks. As we already know that the execution of processes, it is all being characterized by sequence of events. And depending upon the application, the execution of a procedure could be one event, or the execution of an instruction could be one event. And when the processes exchanges the messages, sending of a message constitute one event, receiving of the message constitutes one event. So in this way, we call the things as an event. Now, as we know that there is absence of synchronization of the clocks, as well as absence of the global time in the distributed system. So due to that, if two events occur at two different computers, so that cannot be determined based on the local time at which they have occurred. However, you can say it that there is a certain condition, and with that condition, it is possible to ascertain the order in which the two events occur. And this condition is based solely on the behavior of the uh, mm, uh, behavior of the computation which is going on. So Lamport has a suggestion and given a relation that is called happened before relation. And this happened before relation captures the causal ordering, causal dependencies between the events, meaning thereby whether the two events are causally related or it is not causally related, the relationship has been defined. Now, what is causal ordering or causally related? This word has come from the word cause, CAUSE, which means कारण. किस कारण से कौन सा इवेंट हो रहा है, that is the causal. And if one event is occurring after another event, one event is making a cause, one event is the cause of another event, so that if A has caused B, so it means A tends to B. So if A and B are the event in the same process and A occurred before B, then A happens before B. This is also, you can say that A has caused B. The second important point is, if A is the event of sending a message M in one process, and B is the event of receiving that message M in another process, it means A and B are causally related. A has happened before B, or A tends to B. And Lamport has also suggested that this relationship is transitive. And how it is transitive? If A has happened before B and B has happened before C, then it automatically means that A has happened before C. So this relationship is called transitive relation. Now, in distributed system, processes interact with each other and affect the outcome of the event of processes. So it is necessary to ascertain that order between the events, because a lot of designing, debugging, understanding of the sequence of the execution in distribution computer is very important. So what we do in general, any event changes the system state, and by which it is going to influence the occurrence or and the outcome of the future, because it is due to one event has occurred, another future event can occur. मतलब कहने का ये हुआ, the past event influence future events, and this influence among the causally related events is referred as the causal effect. So what is causality? Causality is past event influences the future event, and this influence among the causally related event is called as the causal effect. And what is the causal related event? If A happens before B, iska matlab hai कि event A causally affects the event B. We have also discussed concurrent event. What is concurrent event? And it is being represented by double bar sign in between the two events. If A is not going to happen before B, nor B is going to happen before A, it means A and B are independent events. This means A and B are concurrent events, and they do not causally affect each other. So this can be represented in the form of a diagram, which is called the space-time diagram. In this space-time diagram, as the figure states, that there are events such as E11, E12, E13, and E14. These are the events of process P1. And E21, E22, E23, and E24 are the events in the process P2. Now, this arrow represents message is transferring, message transfers between the process. This message is transferred, this message is transferred. So we have an arrow from E12 to E23, and this corresponds that sending of a message from P1 to P2. E12 is the event of sending the message at P1 and E23 is the event of receiving the same message at P2. Similarly, you can see E22 is sending a message, means P2 process is sending a message to P1 through E22. So E22 is happening before E13 and E13 is happening before E14. कहने का सिर्फ मतलब ये है कि event E21, that is event E21 causally affects this event E21 causally affects E14. Why? Because E21 happens before E22, E22 happens before E13, and E13 happens before E14. So E21 is causally related with E14. Now, the definition which we have already given in the last slide, whenever A tends to B, it is going to hold for two events, A event and the B event. Then there exists a path from A to B which moves only forwards along the time axis. This is time axis, this is the space axis. So if A and B are the two events and A tends to B, it means there is a sequence of process, sequence of arrow from A to B. which moves only forwards in the time space. Now, E21 and E11. E21 and E11. This is E11 and this is E21. E11 is a process of P1, event of process P1. E21 is the event of process P2. Now, these two events are concurrent event. Why concurrent event? However, it is a concurrent event because they are uh, neither E11 is happening before E21 nor E21 is happening before E11. Why? Because there is no path due to which one is going to cause another. However, E11 appears before the E21. E11 appears to have occurred before the E21, even though these two events are concurrent. But E21 and E14 is not concurrent, causally related. E11 and E24 are causally related. E21 and E13 is causally related. E12 and E24 are causally related. Now, let us check the condition which is being satisfied by the logical clock. So, in order to realize the relation, that is arrow relation, that is happens before relation, Lamport has introduced the system of the logical clocks. There is a clock Ci at each process Pi in the system, which works as a function that assigns a number Cia to an event A. And this CIA is called the time stamp of the event A at process Pi. Therefore, for any two events A and B, if A happens before B, it means the time stamp of A is less than time stamp of B, because C is representing the time stamp, the time when the event has happened. If event A happens before the event B, it means that the clock value of A should be less than the clock value of B. This is a simple fundamental. So this happened before relation, which is to be realized by using the logical clock, with two conditions has to be satisfied. And these two conditions are, for first condition is, for any two event A and B in the same process Pi, where I may be 1, 2, 3. In the same process Pi, if A happens before B, it means Ci A is less than Ci B, where I represents the process number. If A and B are happening in the same process, then Cia should be less than Ci B. And second one is, if event A is sending a message M in process Pi, and event B is the event of receiving that same message M in a different process Pk, then Cia should be less than Ckb, where I is the process number of Pi and Ck, where K is the different process. Suppose if I value is 1 and K value is 2. So it means M message, A is the event of sending a message in P1 and B is the event of receiving the message M in the process P2. So in that case, C1A, when a time stamp of happening of A should be less than the time when it is being received in the process P2, and that event will be B. So these following rules, uh, these are the certain rules which is to be implemented for the, and what will be the implementation rule of these two conditions which has to be satisfied for the Lamport's clock. The first implementation rule is, clock Ci must be implemented between any two successive events in the process Pi. As कैसे इसको represent करेंगे? Ci is equal to Ci plus D, where D is greater than 0 and usually the value of D is 1. Let me give the idea of that. This is E11, this is E12. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. If this event is after this event, so this event is called event 1, and this event is called event 2. It means whenever any other event happens after some event, whatever is the value of the previous event is being added with 1. That is IR1. So whatever is the clock value, it is being incremented by 1. Second implementation rule is, if event A is the event of sending a message M in the process Pi, एक किसी process में, and then M is being received in the different process, suppose it is P2, then C2 is set, the time stamp of receiving of that event is set to a value greater than or equal to its present value and greater than the timestamp of the message. It means it should be Ck should be equal to the maximum value of Ck as well as Tm plus D, where D value of D is 1. So this is how, these are the certain condition which has to be satisfied, and with meeting the after meeting this condition, these are the two implementation rule with which we have to implement the logical clock. So let us go with this example. In this figure, you can see it is going to show you an example of the logical clocks which are updated by using the Lamport's logic or the scheme. Now you can see we have P1 process and P2 process. So the clock value of P1 process will be represented by CP1, and the clock value of P2 process will be represented by CP2. So these two clock values are assumed initially, it is assumed as 0. यहाँ पे भी 0 है, this portion it is 0, and this portion it is 0. So they are 0 initially, and the value of D initially assumed is 1 as per the Lamport's logic. Now let us start. Suppose E11 is the internal event which is happening in the process P1. E11 is a, so if E11 is an event which is happening in process P1, this causes CP1 to become 1. That is why here it is 1, because it is previously 0, koi event occur hua, so it will be incremented by 1. So it from 0 it will become 1. And how it is? By implementation rule number 1. Similarly, E21 and E22 are the two events which is happening in P2, resulting CP2 is equal to 2 due to IR1. E21 was happening first, so it is 1. E22 is happening second, so it is 2. So previously it was 0. So 0, 1, 2. Now, you see, we have a message. E16 is a message. E16 is a message which is send event in the process P1, which increments CP1 to 6. क्योंकि यहाँ पे 5 था, यहाँ पे 6 हो गया. क्यों? Because of the implementation rule number 1. Now the message is assigned a timestamp. यहाँ पे timestamp क्या assign किया गया इसको? 6. Now the event E25, this event E25, which is the receiving event of the message which is sent from process P1, increments the clock CP2, increments this clock CP2 to 7. Why it is 7? Because we have to implement the rule number 2, IR2. And this IR2 says that you have to select the maximum value, and 6 is the timestamp here. So we will add 6 plus 1. So it will become 7. And since it is happening in process P2, in P2, it is lying with 4 plus 1, that is 5. So when we compare the maximum value of 6 plus 1 and 4 plus 1, so 7, maximum of 7 and 5 is 7. So that is why this is designated to 7. So what we have done, we have implemented IR1 and as well as IR2. इसी तरीके से आप देखिए E24, this event, E24 is a send event, and it is send event of P2 process. Now this message is assigned with timestamp 4. This message is assigned with timestamp 4. So it is received, the event is received at E17 in process P1. So what we have to do, we have to take the maximum value. So 4 plus 1 will become 5 and 6 plus 1 becomes 7. So we will select the 7. So that is why the sequence has been changed. 1 in the process P2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 7. It should be 5, but it is not 5 because this event has been causally related with even 6. And even 6 is having a timestamp 6. So naturally, the time when it will be received, it will be above 6. Of course, in process P2, it should be 5, but it is not 5, but it is 7. So I think you are getting my point. So this is how the Lamport logical clock advances, and we have discussed in the last lecture also. So this is how the Lamport logic clock works. Now this happened before relation defines irreflexive partial ordering among the events. So the total order of the events can be obtained as follows. If A is any event in the process Pi and B is any event in the different process, and then A is totally ordered to B if and only if neither the process neither the process CIA is less than CK or CIA is equal to CKB, and PI process is partially related with PK, where this relationship denotes a relation that is total order relation. The process breaks the ties. But besides that logic which is given by the Lamport, we have certain limitation of the Lamport clock. And what is that limitation? Now, what happens in the Lamport? In the Lamport system of digital clock, for any event A and B, if A is happening before B, the timestamp CA will be less than CB. However, the reverse is not necessarily true, meaning thereby, if CA is less than CB, it is not necessary that A has happened before B, because these relationship is causally related. A has caused B. बट इसका मतलब ये नहीं हुआ कि अगर CA की वैल्यू CB से कम है तो इसका मतलब A B से रिलेटेड होगा. So A happens before B is not necessarily true. क्यों? Because event A and B may not be causally related. May be related, may not be causally related. And that is the limitation of Lamport's clock, and we can understand it more clearly with this particular diagram, this particular figure. In this figure, we have 3 processes, P1, P2, and P3. Now, it is very clear that E11 is less than E22. E11 CE11 is less than CE2. Timestamp of E11 is less than timestamp of E22. And also, timestamp of E11 and timestamp of E32. Timestamp of E11 is also less than timestamp of E32. Now, see, event E11 is causally related to event E22. Why? Through this. But E11 is not causally related with E32. Why? Because we don't have any path from E11 to E32. We have a path from E11 to E22, but we don't have any path from E11 to E32. So it is very difficult to say that since there is no path, if there is no path, they are not causally related, even though the timestamp of E11 is less than the timestamp of E32. Now, initial clock value in every process is assumed to be 0 and D is assumed as 1. So, आप कह सकते हैं कि according to Lamport's system of clock, we cannot guarantee, we are not unable to give the guarantee that if CA is less than CB, if CE11 is less than CE32, then B is not causally, E32 is not causally related with E11. So we cannot say in this particular case that A and B are causally related or they are not causally related. But just by looking the timestamp of the event, you may be in confusion state that whether they are causally related or not related. Now, the reason, as far as the reasons are concerned about the limitation of the Lamport's clock is that each clock can independently advance to the occurrence of the local events in a process. And Lamport's clock system cannot distinguish between the advancement of the clock due to normal events, which is happening locally due to exchange of the message between the processes. Now, this message exchanges establishes a path in the space-time diagram as this shows. So this space-time between this message exchange, which is establishing a path in the diagram between the events occurring in the different processes. So therefore, using the timestamp assigned by the Lamport's clock, we cannot say about the causal relationship between the two events occurring in the different processes by just looking to the timestamp of the event. So we are in requirement of another scheme, and that is scheme which is going to overcome the shortcoming of the Lamport's clock, and that scheme is known as vector clock. Now, the vector clock gives us the ability to decide that two events are causally related or they are not causally related just by looking to the timestamp.